Well, after more than 100 days in lockdown, New South Wales will reopen on Monday. Freedoms will be allowed for vaccinated people only. Stephen Fadda runs the White Rabbit Café in Sydney CBD and joins me now live. Stephen, good afternoon. How are you feeling? Are you ready for Monday?
Good afternoon. Yes, sure. We're looking forward to the reopening of New South Wales for the hospitality sector. However, unfortunately, the restrictions still in place. It's going to be a little bit tricky for Sydney CBD to reopen at capacity, especially when work from home orders are still semi in place for most offices. So it's going to be a bit of a hurdle. We are looking forward to some steps ahead, and we just hope that it's going to factor into the CBD as well as the suburbs.
Well, how are you navigating these restrictions that are still on places like cafes and restaurants? How have you had to prepare the cafe?
Well, here's the thing. After being closed for so long, we're basically starting again, reordering, restaffing, which is a hurdle in itself. With a lot of staff still on the disaster payments, not many people want to get out of bed and come to work after such a long break. So, that's been a big hurdle for myself and my business partner. It's sort of like all hands on deck now, trying to get the businesses reopen and more so get them staffed. We have to now monitor not only check-ins, but we're going to have to monitor vaccination status, which is going to be a hurdle in itself.
It's certainly a whole new world for business owners like yourself, having to navigate a person's vaccine status. How do you go about that to ensure that you are checking everybody's vaccine on their phones?
Well, the best we can do is to have a dedicated staff member that's solely standing there at the front door, navigating through all these little problems that we have. As in terms of looking at vaccination status, the New South Wales government have had plenty of time to sort of link and make it convenient for the MyGov and the check-in QR codes. So we're a bit behind the eight ball, I think, as far as the New South Wales compliance is concerned. However, we're just going to do our best. We're going to try not to discriminate, against as many people as possible. However, at the same time, we're just trying to do our job as business owners. We're going to be monitoring the best we can, make sure that staff are checking both check-in and vaccination status, and then from there, we just, fingers crossed, that business is as usual.
Absolutely. But how much pressure are you under? Because essentially the onus really is on the employer.
Well, that's the thing. A lot of statements have come out this week. Police are not going to be monitoring, then they are going to be monitoring. The onus is on the patron, then the onus is on the business owner. So, being in small business, we're sort of out of the loop on who's what and who's at fault, who takes the blame. So, we're going to do our best to monitor to the best of our abilities, and then we just have to take it from there, unfortunately.
You mentioned, of course, the government payments. How far have the payments gone?
In terms of staff?
Yeah, how has it helped the business the last couple of months?
To some degree, little assistance. We've still got rent to pay. I know the first few payments were substantial in the government's eyes. However, we were under the impression that was going to cover the first sort of 2 to 4 week lockdown period. I think we're in 10 to 12 week period now. Had we not struck fairly good negotiations with our landlords, we'd be in a lot of hot water at the moment with a lot of rent outstanding.
So even though you are reopening on Monday, is it still a long pathway out to get the business back to where it was, Stephen?
I'm fortunate enough to have a few venues both in the suburbs and as well as one in the CBD. The CBD will remain closed under these still restrictions. 1 per 4 square metre, it's just not enough to sustain the expense of running a business in the CBD. However, we are looking forward to the suburbs reopening and welcoming our patrons back to White Rabbit.
Absolutely. Just finally, Stephen, have you got a message for patrons, a message for customers ahead of Monday?
Yeah, looking forward to having everybody back. We miss a lot of our customers. We can't wait to get back into it. We want to get back to work and we want to see everybody with happy faces again.
Absolutely. It'll be great to see, hopefully, the Sydney CBD come alive again. Stephen Fadda, thank you for joining me this afternoon.